Hello guys and welcome to TFT World Cup Grand Finals, game number 3. Enjoy.
Into the carousel, so this does free up a lot of those lines. If you want to go for the Guinsus in terms of the Jin Mundo or the GP, you are more freely able to do so and start streaking.
The units that most, I think, are hungry for best in slot are, of course, GP and Karma in this current meta. So bows for the GP players, the crit gloves for the Karma players, that'll be incredibly important to build the, I think, almost necessary Shojin Jeweled Gauntlet Striker's Flail, which is what Karma needs to really burst down the front line and snowball those fights in her favor.
And one of the things I love in this encounter is just to fish for a Kahuna Huna. That is one of the cheapest ways to get a Fast 9 game online. It's so incredibly powerful. And if the players do get any bows, I do expect that to happen.
Ooh. Interesting, efficient as well for this Smolder that NCC1 has picked up, which is maybe the best, or at least one of the best that you can get for the Smolder. This is a hard unit to grief, because you do have to field the Smolder for a round, get the XP for it to be the one in your pool. And so we've seen this line find success, but we've also seen some massive fails from it.
Might depend on what augment you get at 2-1. I think you need a lot of econ to make this work. NCC1, I think he's been more representing the fast 8 game plan for now for Virtus Pro, so maybe a bit out of his depth when it comes to re-rolling for 3-cost especially. Across the entire tournament, 3-cost re-rolls have not looked good at all in the stats. I think they're very hard to execute on. And Tectonic Titan was offered, but if it's not protagonist, I don't want it, says Weibo Gaming.
Yeah, it doesn't offer you the tempo as the prismatic version does. Will people be taking branching out? This is kind of the interesting one, because we have seen players get bitten by this, even though it offers alternative win conditions.
Schoolyard Justice has been picked up by Maris, the Garen hero augment. So we've seen Zac before from Salpimi. Now we are seeing one of these hero augments locked in without protagonist for Virtus Pro. Build you're looking for is definitely going to be that Rage Blade angle that allows Garen to cast so much. We do see a branching out. What will the emblem be here for Tianlong?
Yeah, we just see him immediately communicate with his teammates, deciding where to go with it. He does
Cannon hero augment as well for Guan. So the battle of the hero augments, 9,000 volts picked up, and the Wraith emblem picked up here for Tianlong.
And I really like that pickup coming in from Guan, because that means he's going to be able to grief the frontliner away from NCC1. It typically is best played with the protectors because Kasante is so strong in that line. Now it's going to make it a lot difficult, and if you don't have the frontline, Smolder just kind of falls apart.
The Wraith emblem being picked up as well. This is another comp that can kind of cap pretty high as the 6th Wraith. Whether you're using it with a Kasante or with if you go all the way to the Varus, if you're able to find enough early tempo.
I'm not sure it will be a Smolder line 100% for sure for NCC1. It was just an open angle, but I think depending on the augment, we'll see what he commits to.
Yeah, and interesting for the Tianlong board that he could have had an open Guinsu and just slammed all of his items, so he's not going to go for the Kale line. Very interested to see where he ends up. Most likely still in the all-out position coming in for that Wraith.
Over 9,000, a little bit late for the Garen, 1 round late, let's say, but still could be a strong start. 5 Garens already. This is not protagonist. You don't get the Garen for free. You have to actually work hard and roll for it like a normal 1-cost reroll on stage 3-1. The bigger question is, with the component anvils used for TF, you weren't able to find the Rage Blade components.
Gangplank 2.
Is that a GP from Caretakers, or is it a Mundo?
Oh, that is a great question.
If we get a GP, then that kind of sets a lot up for the game.
It's also a perfect 2-item setup already for the Kennen from Guan, so the better spot from the hero augment for the player from Weibo Gaming.
Incredibly strong openings for all these players right here.
I've just got word that's a Gangplank.
That's protagonist energy from Sao Pimi. He's done it time and time again in this final day of the Esports World Cup TFT 2025. And wow, what a hit from Caretaker's ally.
It's always Salpimi. Protagonist Zax, the Golden Quest, and now Caretaker's Gangplank.
He is the protagonist himself. He's got that energy coming in. He was so good in those interviews as well. Just steely determination. Everything was a statement when people asked him about things. 100% absolutely going to take it back for CN again. Oh, Milo, most likely with Rising Chaos being able to break that streak.
You can see the Rising Chaos, all the orbs coming through. So Milo, really good spot to win streak throughout the entire stage 2. Virtus.pro's done a great job of holding that across the tournament. Often it's been on the back of Kion. And well, funny enough, Kion's also on a 3 streak for this game as well.
Ooh, off that loss though, SalPme has a second pick on the carousel, and there's a lot of interesting options here. 2 pans, a spatula, and just 1 bow. The bow has to be denied from the Gangplank player. Maris does his job, but now there's 2 pans open as well as a spatula. And SalPme will be taking one of the pans. Tianlong takes the spatula. So for Weibo Gaming in its entirety, and LG takes the pan.
They get all of them.
Full prio on all of these incredibly sought-after components. This could maybe warp the entire game plan for Weibo Gaming.
Tianlong already having a +1 with the Wraith, so I mean this could be +2 Wraith theoretically, but also just an additional trait that you're being able to put onto your board.
Maris was forced to take the bow for the Garen and also deny it from the Gangplank, so this very interesting carousel allowed a lot of benefit toward Weibo Gaming. They had most of their players on the bottom side of the standings.
I was very surprised that NCC1 with the first pick right there did not go for any of the spats or pans. Instead is just focusing more on the Sork line as we've seen before. On the other hand, for Tianlong, this might be another chance for him to start to play flex again. I wonder if he can play that Wraith sniper line. It's incredibly powerful and one of the only lines that can use up to that 6 Wraith.
Do we see a Crystal Gambit game from any of the Weibo Gaming players? They can try and go for a Crystal Gambit emblem. It's early into the game still. That can be a win condition in and of itself. And you're finding the spatula component essentially for free from a carousel, so the value is definitely there.
They are the ones with that option as we're going to go into the last fight of stage 2. Kion and Milo still on the full win streaks, and we have 3 full loss streakers with Maris, NCC1, and Tianlong. And so many times we've seen NCC1 in this position during the semifinals. He was able to be bailed out twice in a row and escape that 8th place. But our first 2 games of the day, 8th for NCC1, and you have to think, does that start to weigh on it?
Do we see a perfect win streak and lose streak stage 2 from Virtus.pro? It's Kion versus SalPme. Kion's looking to win this fight, but he's looking at a GP2 in front of his poor Lux 1 with just a Shojin. Will Lux target the GP in time, though? That's the big question. Yeah,
he's the weaker of the 2 win streakers for Virtus.pro, but this cannon is trying to anchor the front line. The Gangplank just not taking enough damage, as we see Tianlong does end up taking another loss, gets the full loss streak. The Gangplank just not really going down. And that is just going to be gold farm once again. We are going to get overtime, and maybe that makes the difference, but it does not. That is just going to be 1 more gold.
We'll have to see if Milo is able to keep his streak, and both of Virtus.pro's win streaks actually broken. NCC1 now the only one with the full streak, and Econ. Here comes the grief game.
LBTZ now on a 4 win streak of his own. We're looking at the roll downs from Guan and from Maris, both on the hero augment. 6 cannons right now. A heavy roll down on this PvE round even from Guan. So just making sure he's not going to get target grief has rolled down to under 10 gold already. Holding Garens as well in the process, so double duty for Guan in this current setup.
Yeah, gonna get a little bit more money for Maris though by holding fast. Not too many Garens out of the pool, and still on par with the cannons as far as the hits are concerned. We're gonna have to look at Maris's roll down to see if he can just find that Garen straight away.
It's really important to snowball on this Garen because every single spell cast you get permanent HP.
Chop.
It's going to be 7 Garens right now. If you don't have the Garen 3 online in stage 3, this line really is not worth playing.
I assume you, like with Gangplank and with Vi Knuckles, you have to roll very heavily because of the snowballing like you just mentioned, Clement. Imagine it's correct to roll to around 10 gold at this point in time for Maris. He's holding cannons as well, double duty, 6 cannons held by Maris at this point in time. Waiting on 30 for now, so taking his sweet time, thinking that this Garen 2 is going to do enough in stage 3.
And we have the answer for NCC1. He is going to be pivoting into stabilizing on stage 3. He probably realizes that he has 2 teammates in the Sork spots, doesn't want to take any of them over. He's just going to have to play for tempo here.
And we do see the Mundo 2 being picked up, though, and this is one of the best units for trying to stabilize in Stage 3. Having a very good carry. Yes, the itemization is a bit wonky for the Syndra, but end of the day, the healing is going to be able to keep this Mundo alive and hopefully be able to find some round wins. And it looks like that Unstoppable stun might have bought enough space to try and close things out, but the Ginsu's fully ramped. One more cast, not enough. Guan going to keep the loss streak for NCC1. But honestly, when you're on that big a loss streak, one unit loss is basically a win.
Gold augments coming in from the board here. Salpimi, we already know he's on the GP line. He could be playing for a level 9 GP. We haven't seen this one. Explosive growth would give him the extra copies, in fact, but gonna go for the potential items instead.
Goes for Slammin in the end. Has a Smolder on the board. This could potentially indicate there is a Smolder line being played, but I don't think so in the rest of the lobby. It could have been just for the anti-heal for that one round last turn.
Taking a look across the board, NCC1 is going to reach into his bag of tricks, a magic roll. We'll see what he finds. If he does get the triple duplicators, that could be a way to kind of stabilize Stage 3.
More slams from Salpimi, just going to be the Striker's Flail. Not having those best-in-slot items for Gangplank might be the saving grace for Virtus Pro in this game, because the Gangplank is just going to be used for tempo. Yes, it'll 3-star, but it will be a while before Salpimi can start to replace some items and find exactly what he needs.
NCC1 has swapped his role entirely. No longer the fast A player on Virtus Pro. Instead, going to opt to try and stabilize. Has rolled up to 10 gold on level 6. Playing for the Mundo Jin line. Syndra has been sold. We will see if he executes its plan accordingly for Virtus Pro and tries to win most, if not all, of the fights in Stage 3.
His job is just to outplace Tianlong. Tianlong also most likely going on a very similar Jin sniper line as well. He does get the extra HP out of the magic roll, but not finding the Jin 2 is going to hurt. As I say that, gets it immediately.
5 copies of Mundo as well, so trying to start to look towards that as Maris does get the Garen 3 online, still holding 6 copies of Kennen. We'll have to keep updated on whether Guan can find that, because he's been able to hold on to this win streak with the Kennen.
We were talking about the bows from the carousel. He's able to find the Guinsus here. Now, it's important to remember, Schoolyard Justin takes your Garen into a fighter. So he actually scales his mana based off of auto attacks. That's why this is one of the best items for this augment.
And of course, with Battle Academia, the more that Garen casts, the more max HP he is stacking for the rest of the game. And that HP will not be going away. So he becomes just this almost unkillable tank that also kills your entire board. And Big Ravag allows to start looking at the Yuumi items as well. You hit the Garen, now it's all about pushing to level 8, finding your Yuumi, becoming that Prodigy player as well, having that 2-pronged attack with an AP backline carry, and Garen doing it all in the front
needing
line.
the secondary carry to actually deal with the tanks so your Garen can break through and just clear everything else out, because he can get stuck on tanks. That is like the one issue you have with a lot of these melee carries, is when they get trapped.
Karma, when 3 players are angling for Sorks, that is going to be the biggest prize out of the pool here. Who can rush towards that one? Or are we going to see some defense from these players? Looks like NCC1 wants to go for it, but Tianlong with the deny.
Yeah, NCC1 looking kind of dizzy there, not taking anything for quite a while, even though there were some Weibo players that were able to come select. So maybe was supposed to even get that Karma, but Tianlong grabbed it. We did see NCC1 standing next to it for a while before letting Tianlong come and take it.
We're still seeing a Pan and a Spatula open for LBTZ and Tianlong. No Crystal Gambit game plan, so it will not be the option. GP3 has already been found by Salpimi, thanks to Caretaker's ally. Slam-in pickup, knowing he doesn't have to roll much on level 6, is now already level 7, can try and find the Rise to fit in the Formentor, and this is starting to become a very scary game plan from Salpimi.
The thing is, there is no GP game plan on the other side. This is the second game in a row that we have not seen a GP be contested. Will it yield different results? I don't think so.
This time I don't think they have a choice. You get the Caretaker's ally, it's very hard to contest into that, and so now it's going to be into the Garen.
It's a big test. Garen, Hero Augment versus GP, kind of Hero Augment as well with Caretaker's ally. It's Garen all by himself. The GP can't access.
Can't get there, so
there's no stretchy arms. And, whoa, this is actually going really in favor of the Garen, but I think still the GP will win. It's going to be a much smaller loss than it could have been otherwise.
Got to farm a ton of casts because of that, so that works out. out.
You'll farm the gold. I'll farm the HP. I think both players semi-happy with that one.
Where is this going? Double IE setup, I guess, yeah, it's going to be Cassante. We don't see the all-out right away for Milo, so trying to take a page out of Guan's book, not quite able to find it. We do see a retailer on stage 3, not waiting until stage 4, and we are not seeing all-out. Yet again, it has been a miss, so really unfortunate here for Milo.
Another reroll miss again. More.
He's on 67 HP, so still somewhat fine, and we're right up on the PvE round. Oh, another miss.
Miss Ezreal.
Okay.
Double IE, Edge of Night. We'll see if Milo can win this next fight at least. He's on a 3-loss streak for now, facing off against the 9,000 volt from Guan's Kennen, and it's still a Kennen too. So despite the very early roll on level 4 all the way down to 10 on Krugs, not able to get any closer to finding that Kennen 3.
Not finding really any copies while continuing to regain the economy. Was on 6, now just on 7, finding a single copy over the last little bit that we've seen.
I'm fairly surprised he's still 83 HP, despite not having a Kennen 3 and staying on level 5. That's just goes to show you why it's generally considered the strongest non-protagonist hero augment.
There's a second copy of Cassante on level 7. Milo really has to hope he can find the all-out on this upcoming fruit he'll get. NTC1 here to give him some good luck, but it's going to be tough. This is one of the problems with playing and angling for all-out Cassante. There's a chance you just miss the power-up altogether.
Yep, and usually what you do is you're forced into the volley bear game plan if you don't find it with your last power-up. It's very possible. He only has one chance to get it. I know that he's going to tailor with a random tank. That's what you can still do on this patch. But if he doesn't hit, volley it is.
All right, well, it all comes down to this, as he does get that remover. See if he rolls first or if he goes for the remover. There it is. All out is hit. Crisis averted for Milo.
Tianlong, an early Varus on level 8, has a setup that, I mean, with the Wraith emblem, he's going to be playing for the 4 Wraith for now. The Sniper backline, the Mundo 1 still is a little bit worrying if that's going to be his main tank going forward.
Does find a Swain upgrade alongside a Leona. Try and go for a little bit of a Bastion angle.
So many pairs for Milo, not able to hit any of the upgrades just yet, has rolled down under 10.
Still having a decent amount of HP to buffer, but is on this big loss streak. We'll see if the all-out Cassante can stabilize. We've seen it stabilize on Cassante 1 plenty of times, and it looks like this might be the case this time going up against LBTZ, who has been starting to lose quite a few matchups himself. Looks like there's going to be no problem for the Cassante.
Because Weibo Gaming has so much HP across the board, they're pretty happy to just start rolling on 4-2. None of them are rushing a 4-1 roll down. If you look 1, 2, 3, all on Weibo Gaming's side right here. Salpimi even with a 4-win streak.
But at the end of the day, the HP numbers are just incredibly even, right?
Yep.
It is a very tight margin. There's not a huge blowout like we've seen previously. So it kind of comes down to, are there anyone in terrible spots that are free-falling? And also, who are the winouts that we can identify?
Yep, this is the Yuumi board coming in from LBTZ. Keon most likely going for the Sork stabilization. It seems like VP really like their chances going into that one. I'm not a huge fan. We'll see how it ends up, but no Yuumis so far for the side for LBTZ.
Star Guardian pivot potentially for now. You have the Jinx pair, you have the Poppy online, you have just a weird mix of all 3 meta AP lines it looks like here.
But with the 6 Star Guardian, Rising Chaos, at least just leverage this for now. You were loss streaking, but we've recognized the HP values, and at this point, if you can just start winning fights against VP, you might be able to put your team in the best position to win.
Salpimi removes items for his fast 8 players to start hitting. This might not be enough, though. I still think the GP3 has a good chance of taking over this board. Let's see if Rising Chaos can get enough casts to power through.
Interestingly, Salpimi does end up putting all those items onto a Kabuko that was on board for Slammin'. However, that's a Kabuko, so if he was wanting to re-roll those Kabukos, he's going to have to sell that off.
That's such a good catch. Not able to sack for his teammates because he had Slammin'.
Juan still no Kennen 3 it looks like. And he's down to 20 gold on level 6. We're in stage 4 already. This is a 1-cost reroll, so maybe not quite the spot you'd like to be in. Still a Kali pair for Milo here, so still missing a few key upgrades. Has found the Cassante though. Can this Cassante do enough in stage 4 just by himself here for Milo?
Meanwhile, I mean, Virtus.pro are finding the hits that they need. Artistic KO just picked up for the Jhin, alongside having the 3-star Mundo, which is the most important part of that comp, but you do need to find the damage. Now, Artistic KO, you're halfway there. Just have to hit the 3-star Jhin now.
When I see this board, I'm pretty sure that Tianlong is dead. The Varus board deals terribly with Akali and All Out. It has very little single target focused damage. I don't see Tianlong being able to survive against an All Out that hits.
Well, taking a look at Tianlong in this fight against Sao Pimi. Once again, Sao Pimi is going to be sacrificing. Does have to start slamming to try and make sure that he can get that XP. Already at level 8, potentially ready to push level 9 as he's level 850 gold. So Sao Pimi having a huge amount of cap out potential and will be looking to anchor for this Weibo Gaming team.
The Gunblade coming in clutch for the Jhin. Could the Mundo clean up all by himself? He can't. And LBTZ once again impressing. Playing off-meta lines, rolling down, playing a flex board that we see from only a few players in this caliber of TFT. And playing against NCC1 and once again knocking him down a notch.
It's these two teams that have played the most Star Guardian, I believe, and it's just kind of finding that spot on your roll down where you're not hitting and just being able to pivot and successfully hold on to more HP for your team instead of just dying because you can't find the exact comp you want.
We still have an open spat for Tianlong. He's really banking on if he can get another armor item in, potentially go for that 6th Wraith. I'm not really sure what else he could be angling for. He doesn't have a Reforger to give him heavyweight or the Juggernaut, so probably is just the Wraith.
The final roll down coming in from Guan. He is closer to a Janna 3 than his hero augment carry in Kennen. He's rolling on 6, so only
one more.
Smaller odds of finding the 1 cost, but I mean, surely at this point you have to hit. This is the time you have to stabilize. Hits it on exactly 0 gold. Is this enough to turn this lose streak around?
That is massive for Weibo because, as you said, Tianlong's spot is starting to look rough. Looks like that might be the 8th place. And going 7-8 in this lobby, yes, you might have the winner with Sao Pimi, but I don't think that LBTZ can be counted on to go top 2. He's holding on to HP, but not a good enough spot to cap out.
He also does have maxed Arcana, so this Kennen has been stacking for a very long time, pretty much the entire game coming in here. You can only get this in stage 2, so all of a sudden, Weibo Gaming, they have a potentially 7th player now turning into a brawler for them.
Yeah, the +1 Supreme Cell to go alongside this with the Kennen to be able to be even stronger. He is going to take down Tianlong, but that was at least a somewhat promising fight for Tianlong because all those upgrades get hit by Guan and you're still able to kill off a lot of units.
Especially as Clement mentioned, there could be a big power spike waiting on this next PvE round if Tianlong finds that Chain Vest for another Wraith Emblem. For Guan, we're seeing here, he is still fairly healthy. He is going to be stuck on 6 for a while still, especially if he doesn't sell these Jins. His late game plan, it's going to rely heavily on this Kennen being an absolute beast all by himself with his hero augment equipped.
Yeah, over the course, you mentioned the max Arcana, 47 AP stacked up throughout this game, so very, very good for this Kennen.
And again, I think it's the question about the winouts for Weibo Gaming. I don't think Tianlong has a great chance at stabilizing. Sao Pimi, for some reason, is losing a lot of his stage 4 despite having that GP3. I think potentially it's just an item problem. So it's down to LPDZ to hit the sort line. He is on Star Guardians, but that is not a win-out line. They don't have the room for it.
Some amount of those losses from Sao Pimi have been sacrifices. We've seen a lot of removers used already from him, so I would expect him to start rubber banding and be able to turn things around as Milo, able to get there, has found the upgraded Akali. That comp is fully online, and we have seen Cassante win out in the past, especially when it is contesting Gangplank specifically, which is the win-out player from Weibo Gaming.
A single tear rolls down Guan's cheek as he sees his own Cassante taking him down a notch in this fight in stage 4. And now Guan could be 2 lives if he takes some really big hits in stage 5. Tianlong on 1 life as well. NCC1 trying to dodge that 8th place yet again for Virtus.pro.
I'm sorry, Sao Pimi. I thought there was something going on your board. Never mind. He's 50 gold. He's almost level 9. He is completely fine. There is a win-out player established. In GP, we trust.
I think he threw like 3 life vests to his team in stage 4 with the HP trades he was given.
And there's the level 9.
Ooh, TF2. What a
right
cap
away
for this GP board.
It's
Very
so
interesting.
early.
Do we transfer the Executioner emblem at all to
At some
TF
point,
potentially?
surely you will, but I think it might be wait for Yasuo 2 because you're so far ahead you don't really need to just immediately transfer with the Yasuo 1s on the bench.
And waste a remover.
Exactly, yeah, you don't want to waste the remover.
Maybe you give up on Yasuo 3. You
could, I think.
right away. You're on 9 already.
Yeah.
So.
It's reasonable. If he wants to go 10, I think that's exactly what you would do, right? And 10 is maybe possible because you need to cap high in this game to actually win.
Yep.
Yep. You need enough burst damage to get the all-out player, which is Milo, currently at the top of the lobby, out.
Tianlong on his last life. Double Wraith Emblem has been found. Is that enough against just that one Jin 2 from NCC1? No Jin 3 upgrade just yet. It has been target grief by all of Weibo Gaming. For now, it looks to be enough.
Mundo really tough for Varus to get through, but he has backline access, and the Braum actually throws the Mundo to the side, goes and takes out the Jin. Now, you know, you still have the Braum up. You've got ways to get rid of this Mundo, even though this matchup can be annoying. Gets there in NCC1, one life away from the 3rd 8th in a row in the Grand Finals.
I want to
break the
mention
mental?
the positioning from NCC1 is actually really interesting. Something that I've learned actually just casting this tournament. With Unstoppable, you don't place Mundo in the front, you place him in the 3rd row. He still goes in, but he doesn't get the immediate aggro. You allow Set to soak up some of that damage as well, and you allow your Unstoppable tank to be a bit more disruptive in the backline and survive for longer. So really cool tech from our players across this tournament.
Gives a lot of CC, but is that enough to save him? I honestly would have a breakdown if I go 8-8-8. It's just, it feels insurmountable, and now he's running up into a very strong board by Guan. I believe one that has pivoted.
On the other side, Maris gets the Garen immediately onto the Varus and the backline, deleting everything, maybe rescuing his teammate from another 8th as he destroys Tianlong, sending him out of the game. NCC1 still having the Mundo in the front line, but it looks like he'll fall as well, though he is not losing nearly as hard as Tianlong.
One last kill on Gwen. That could be the difference maker. Both players taken down. Who takes the bigger loss? Tianlong does. 8th place for Weibo Gaming. 7th place for Virtus Pro. NCC1 dodges the back-to-back-to-back. Maybe that one placement is all he needed to bounce back into this series to help his team in a possible game, or no, a guaranteed game 4 for both teams.
Yeah,
we're still on 1-1.
We are getting to game 4.
LBTZ is able to finish his transition as well. He was heavily contested by Keon Sork board, but able to make the turn. Also running a 5-star Guardian, 4 Sorcerers. This is such a cool thing to see. Love this player.
Yeah, LBTZ has been very creative throughout this tournament. His comfort zone are these flexible lines when he needs to steer and swerve to find a way to help save HP for his team, but that Akali is going to get in the back line very quickly. All Cassante has avoided a lot of these sides
Karma's
from
down.
the Karma. She goes down. LBTZ takes a lot of damage there. Once again, Virtus Pro controlling the HP, but not by a large margin as Keon drops to a single life.
And the protagonist, Salpi Mi, is once again win streaking with his Gangplank 3 setup.
Keon, unfortunately, only has 1-star tanks right here, and there's being nothing offered. There is a Braum, but he's skipped it already.
For Salpi Mi, he's on Braum 1 now. Might want to pick up his 5 cost. Has a Shojin as well, can summon on the TF, so a really good setup. We see the TF does have the Executioner emblem now, so I think the Yasuo was sold once the second Yasuo 2 was found. And Salpi Mi, LBTZ, even if Weibo Gaming doesn't win this game 3, they both played very impressive and creative games of TFT. Salpi Mi, a little bit easier, of course, having a GP3 to stabilize in throughout every stage of this game.
Look at this health bar from the Garen for Maris. It's been stacking very well all game. The question is, how high can you cap without protagonist being able to push to that 4-star? Are they able to outcap someone like Salpi Mi? Are they able to be up at the top of the tables alongside Milo, who's on that amazing board as well? So the question is can the all-out and the Garen place high enough to bring this home for Virtus Pro, especially if Keon takes the 6th?
It looks like it's going to be a team kill coming in. Milo, a lot more targeted damage running into the backline already. The Karma is going to be found. Akali also there. So this is the end of the road for Keon. Just missing too many critical frontline upgrades.
Yeah,
Very close fight in the end, but just enough to knock him out. The 1-unit loss in stage 5. Keon ends up going out in 6th. Got some information. Garen is nearing 6k HP for the Schoolyard Justice.
We're getting to that point again where it is just going to come down to who secures the first place. And that's where Sao P.Me, the protagonist for Weibo Gaming, who has continued to find win after win, or at least these top fours consistently, finding the very creative and interesting augment selections that lead to win-out angles. This one is a little bit less interesting because it's a gangplank, but still a different route to get there. And can he find it once more for Weibo when they need it most in this grand final?
How do you even beat that board? Because that's going to be level 10 with a TF2 that's been stacking since
Braum 2 as well.
stage 5.
Items for almost everyone as well. Executioner emblem on TF. I mean, a really insane setup. We have 5 Leonas in the backline, 2 Gwen. Sao P.Me is briefing everyone that's in his path as well. We're seeing still Leona 1 from Maris, for example. So Sao P.Me doing it all here. Guan and LPTZ both taken down from Weibo Gaming in 4th and 5th.
So important that they took out Kian when they did, because now it just means the first place is all that matters. Sao P.Me in a 1v2, but both of the matchups should be okay. Even though All Out Cassante is a counter to the Gangplank, there are now more threats than the Gangplank. There's the Braum and the Twisted Fate, which can do fine enough into that all-out board.
But looking onto this board for Sao P.Me, he doesn't have Wound necessarily. Oh, no, never mind. He has Mentor in. He doesn't even need Wound. Well, there are no weaknesses to a board. I'm sorry.
Hey, my bad. Hey, look, it's actually just the best board.
Maybe a 3-star forecast is another way for VP to try and win this game, but Leona 2 is found for Maris. Obviously, Leona is blocked, and Yuumi, possibly Akali, possibly Cassante are the forecasts that are still being played by Virtus Pro to try and fight it off here. Garen has been scaling as well for a lot. Can Garen, Schoolyard Justice, fight against this incredibly stacked GP board? That's a real question.
It's hard to even position to find a way there. Now Milo versus Maris. I'm curious if they'll just kind of fight it out. They're not sure who's going to win yet. You just see who can get stronger, stay alive, both of you, for as long as possible. But meanwhile, Sao P.Me against the Ghost, it's not even remotely close.
The Braum will have a very easy time manhandling either of these carries from the side of Cassante or Akali, and it's just looking like a very, very strong board. There's no plan for 3-star forecast. We're seeing the bench there, no projection for Cassante 3 or Akali 3, so I don't know how anyone beats this.
Level 10.
Yep. Zyra added in, full 5 cost along with the mentors.
I have to say it. I feel like Sao P.Me has clinched this game again, getting a great roll from the caretakers. It's just too much to overcome, and the law of the land will hold still. Uncontested GP3, still undefeatable.
Is there any way that Garen can somehow outposition, get onto the GP early before he scales, somehow 1v1 the TF and the Braum?
Yeah, the question is even if you get the Gangplank, does it win you the fight? Because the Twisted Fate does so much damage still in the backline. Even itemization going towards Ryze at this point, getting so many carry options. The Gangplank wraps, ends up finding the secondary carry of the Caitlyn. Braum just throwing everything around. Garen finally gets through the front line, but it's too little too late. Maris goes down, and now the 1v1, Milo versus Sao P.Me, but Milo just lost about 20 HP to the Ghost.
And there has been a 3-star Malphite cash out immediately sold.
It's going to be a rush for the Cassantes here, so you have to deny 2 full Cassantes to make sure you lock that out. And we see the roll down coming in from Sao P.Me. He really doesn't have much to do. Maybe just find the Zyra and call it a day.
Could have teched in the Malphite to get some XP on the rolls, but he's already level 10. Unlucky.
All 4 costs that Milo has are being held. There's the Ryze on the board, 1 Cassante, 1 Jarvan, 2 Akalis. So even that's being locked out. So Milo may be looking to go 10, but 10 I don't think actually does anything at all for this board.
It's going to be the Hail Mary Cassante. That's the only one that he can still find out of these pools. Maybe he can sneak one out from the carousel, and with the 50 gold, roll down for it. That's the only 1 in a million shot.
Yeah, we're seeing the fight is just not even close. The Kabuko bouncing up the Cassante and the Ryze. The Cassante has been stuck on that right bottom corner the entire fight. It is a massive loss. Sao P.Me even has a Poro fan, so the fight RNG would have to go his way a million times for the fight to go in favor of Milo. It's just too much to handle from Sao P.Me. He has played, I'm not going to say a perfect game of TFT, but at the end here, he's not allowed any counterplay whatsoever from Milo to sneak back into this game.
GP massively ahead, is able to lend his HP throughout stage 4, stage 5. Now just finds himself in the final 1v1. The roll down already
It's not
over.
a roll down, it's a level 10. Milo just pushing 10. I don't think this is gonna get you there. I just don't know that it does really much of anything to make up in that fight. I agree. You kind of had to go for the Hail Mary. Now, are you going to hit K'Sante 3 with just a 50 gold roll down on 9? Probably not, but it would have been a chance to actually win guaranteed.
We spoke too soon. The Kennen 2 power spike. Surely that will swing things in favor of Milo. 4 HP and maybe the biggest dream of all in TFT.
Sao Pimi on a victory march once again. The hero of Weibo Gaming all day long, trying to close out another win. K'Sante trying to get onto the gangplank, but the Edge of Night will just let the Braum finish the job, and Sao Pimi and Weibo Gaming are going to go up 2-1 in the grand finals.
One more game, all that is necessary for CN to continue their dominance, for Guan, for Salpimi to finally earn the recognition that they deserve from the Chinese region.
And let's be honest, a very fortunate augment pickup onto 1 as well.
Yeah, incredibly quick. You know, just getting the GP and also the 9,000 in. I think the game plans were settled. When you have a runaway GP, it always seems like an easy going.
Yeah, and it's big for them to pick up yet another win as we see our final fight once more, Panda. Nothing that the K'Sante can do against all of this CC.
The board strength disparity was just way too high. I mean, level 10, all of your upgraded 5 cost, TF scaling, GP3, perfect items on everyone, Braum, Poro fan shielding you from damage as well in future fights.
All right, well with that, we are going to send it back to our analyst desk to break down this third game as Weibo Gaming is on match point.
Weibo Gaming bring it back in the third match, bringing now as well as the casters mentioned on that match point. Really good position for them to be in. Coming into this match, we said, Hupe, we were like, we want adaptability, we want to see whether or not they're going to change their gameplay. We want to see how